Said we're going to hear Supervisor Carroll's recognition at 10:45 when the bishop gets here. So now we'll move on to call to the public. Oh no, I'm sorry, got one more presentation. Kelly, my apologize to you. Moving on to addendum item 1, presentation. It's a presentation by Kelly Fryer and Brian Davis, co-chairs of Southern Arizona Hate Crimes Task Force, asking the Board of Supervisors to declare Pima County part of the We Stand Together network. Kelly, did you wish to make the presentation? No, thank you.
Good morning, Pima County Board of Supervisors. Thanks for allowing us to be here with you this morning. I want to say a special congratulations to Supervisor Carroll on your retirement, and also say how glad I am that neither of my housemates are here today, or we would have 4 dogs. I also want to thank the Board of Supervisors I'm here representing this morning the Southern Arizona Hate Crimes Task Force, but I'm also the CEO of the YWCA, and I want to thank you for declaring December Project Period Month. And especially Supervisor Elias, whose GoFundMe campaign beat its goal of $1,000 before December even started. I want to thank members of the We Stand Together network who are here today, including representatives from the Jewish History Museum and staff and board from the YWCA. About a month before the election on November 8th, 2 friends of mine, a lesbian couple, bought a little second home in Bisbee. I was shocked and horrified when I learned that the police had called them to say that someone had spray painted an unequal sign on their new home. My friends were a little startled at first, but shrugged it off. Uneasily, but they shrugged it off because, as they said, it's everybody's so hippie there. Well, that was before the election. Since the election on November 8th, reports of hate crimes and bias-related incidences have skyrocketed all across the United States. The Southern Poverty Law Center received nearly 900 reports from people in 46 states in just the first 10 days after the election. Every single group of people who are considered somehow different in this country were targeted by these incidences. Immigrants, African American people, members of the LGBTQ community, people who are Jewish and Muslim, people of color, people with disabilities. And these incidences are happening everywhere. In parks, on the street, in schools, at work, at the grocery store, on college campuses, in neighborhoods, on front porches and in driveways, even in places of worship. They're happening here in Pima County. 2 days after the election, after hearing about how these incidences are happening all over the country, YWCA Southern Arizona posted a message on our Facebook page that said, if you're experiencing something like this here in Tucson and Pima County, private message us. Well, we received 18 reports in the first 10 days from all over the Tucson area. On November 12th, a gay man here in Tucson opened his door to find a sign taped to the front of his door, a picture of Donald Trump, swastikas all around it, and "You're a fag" written across Trump's face, President-elect Trump's face. On November 17th, a young woman found herself in a heated but respectful debate on Facebook, and she was shocked when an acquaintance told her, "You can't believe everything you read on the internet, you fill in the blank with a slur that begins with a W and refers to Mexican Americans that I haven't heard spoken for 40 years. On November 20th, a sign that said, "With Jews you lose," was painted on the sidewalk on 22nd at a bus stop near Cole. On November 27th, a group of black teenage girls who had just finished their post-Thanksgiving shopping at the mall were nearly run down in the street by 2 white men who screamed racial slurs, including the N-word, at them. This is serious. We've received reports of TUSD 4th graders chanting the N-word at a teacher's aide. a disabled woman and her Mexican-American caregiver being verbally assaulted in the parking lot of a grocery store here in Pima County and told when Trump takes over, he'll make sure people like you are gone for good. Reports like these have died down a little bit in the last week or so, but the larger trends show that hate crimes and bias-related incidences are on the rise. In Phoenix, there was a 26% increase in hate crimes in 2015. Our new president has promised to deport 3 million undocumented immigrants as one of his first acts in office and to force Muslims to register with the government. He is appointing anti-women and anti-gay leaders to his cabinet. His appointment for special advisor to the president has expressed vile anti-Semitic views. We're facing the very real possibility that the bias and hate we are facing from our neighbors, co-workers, and strangers on the street will soon become the official policy of the United States government. We hope that will not be happy, but we intend to be ready if it does. We have 3 goals for the We Stand Together network, and in a minute, my colleague here, Brian Davis, who's the co-chair of the Southern Arizona Hate Crimes Task Force, will explain how it works. But here are the goals we have. To begin building a serious alliance in Pima County. Every single one of us must realize that we are in this together, that an attack on you is an attack on me. We have to have each other's backs. Second, to provide tools to community members that will help us stop bias-related incidences when we see them happening in public or in private spaces. And 3, to form a network of people who are committed to standing together. And standing together means being a safe place in this community, agreeing to give shelter to anyone who is experiencing bias-related harassment, continuing to learn about bias and prejudice and growing as an ally to others, and taking action when called upon, even if and when action is required to block immoral orders from the new administration in Washington. It looks like it may be working so far. 494 people and businesses have so far signed up to be part of the We Together network in Pima County. And we've had just 4 reports since our launch event on November 30th, which represents a 50% decrease in the number of incidences reported. We hope today that Pima County will agree to join the network. Ryan?
Thank you, Kelly. And thank you to this board for allowing us this opportunity to make this address and extend a couple of invitations. As Kelly mentioned, the We Stand Together network is a project to build alliances across the various communities that make up our whole community, and at the same time to create spaces that have declared themselves as safe spaces and welcoming spaces to all in our community. So in essence, it's to do the work that we already do to build community with particular intent. We're deeply concerned about these hate crimes, the escalation in hate crimes and hateful language across the nation and in our community. I spend my days as executive director at the Jewish History Museum and Holocaust History Center confronting racism, working with our public school, our students from across Southern Arizona to talk about the dangers of classification and symbolization and dehumanization and hate speech and propaganda and the cultivation of us versus them dichotomies. So I'm deeply unsettled by these current trends. We want to invite this board to resolve to have every Pima County building become a part of the We Stand Together network by displaying the decal, and also to ensure that all employees learn what to do if someone seeks shelter in one of these institutions. So to care for each other in this way, we have these decals which are now visible on businesses, organizations, and homes throughout the community. Second, I'm thrilled to hear that Sheriff Manos is here. We also want to ask the Pima County Sheriff's Office to take the same position as the Tucson Police Department. Chief Magnus at our kickoff event for the We Stand Together program resolved never to act, that TPD would never act as an arm of the federal government, particularly as it pertains to the immigration enforcement and registration of particular national, ethnic, racial, or religious groups. So we asked the Pima County Sheriff's Office to take the same position publicly. Thank you all for your consideration, and we'll be following up with your offices in the days to come.
So let me see if I understand this. What you're asking us to do today, and I need clarification from our legal staff, from our attorney. This was supposed to be listed as discussion action. It was not. And I think what you're asking us today is that we join the We Stand Together network and that we display it on every Pima County building, the decal, and that we ask our county employees to undergo, I think with your assistance, or you can certainly point us in the right direction, some training so they know what it means to be a safe place and how to provide the assistance that someone may need if they are being somehow attacked in a hate crime situation. So is that, and then you're asking that the sheriff's, it was an independent elected official, of course we can't speak for him or that for that office, that he joined together with Chief Nanos in making the statement regarding immigration, and those are the two asks, if I understand.
Immigration, and also as it pertains to the registration of particular.
Registration, immigration and registration, okay.
Madam Chair?
Supervisor.
Madam Chair, why don't we offer that as staff direction that we want this item on the agenda for the first meeting in January, at which point, and I think all of us are going to have some very important comments tonight.
Okay, yeah, I think that would be, we can act today, right, doing that. I just need,
Madam Chair, I think Supervisor Valdez's suggestion is appropriate. I think you can show your support for the notion today if you wanted to. It is an agendized item, but I think Supervisor Valdez is a better approach.
okay, Supervisor.
Madam Chair, I can appreciate Supervisor Valadez's effort to make sure we do this correctly. I don't have a problem with voting in favor of becoming a part of the network today, and we can ratify that vote with a proclamation at our first meeting in January that'll outline the specifics of what that means. And I think that's what Mr. Weaver was alluding to right now.
Thank you.
So I don't think it's a problem at all, and I think that we should stand together with our friends. And as Kelly was going over that litany of actions that have taken place, I thought of myself when I was in 6th grade, and my 6th grade teacher told me to go out the back door and keep walking until I got back to Mexico where I belong. That stuck with me, and it sticks with me for a long time. It doesn't make me angry anymore. I kind of snicker about it, because I have the perfect answer. I looked at her and said, I don't know anybody down there. I'll admit I was just being smart aleck. Nevertheless, those actions and those things that happen in life like that stick with you forever. And so those 18 instances are going to stick with a huge number of people forever. So with that, I move that we go ahead and become a part of the We Stand task force, or say it again.
Network.
We Stand Together network today, and that we ratify it with a proclamation or a resolution outlining all the details of what that stands for and means at our meeting in January.
First meeting in January. Can I third it? No, I guess. Supervisor Carroll, do you have any comments? Okay. Supervisor.
I was going to reserve some of these comments for January, but I think considering the action we're doing right now, I'm going to go ahead and share them right now. It's been an absolute honor for me to serve my community and my country as an elected official for over 20 years at this point. But I will tell you that in those 20 years as an elected official, I have never gone through as difficult a time as this past year. I've seen a country and a people that I love, respect, and have known what good we can be completely fall apart. And I will tell you this, and I haven't shared this with many people, the day, I think some of my colleagues here know, the day after the election, my 12-year-old son didn't go to school because he didn't sleep all night, and he cried when the results were read. And it wasn't because of who won, it was because of what he felt that represented. I've struggled a great deal with what that represents for me. I struggle with a sense of who America is, who Arizona is, and who Pima County is. But I struggle not against who we are, but really the image of what more we can be, how good we can be, the family that we can be. And the truth is that I struggle with it because I know who we can be. And this effort speaks volumes to that. But it also speaks volumes to another point that I've been struggling with. That point being that of all the bad that we have seen this last year, we can't internalize it. We can't accept it. But more importantly, we can't behave in the same manner to address it. We have to be who we can be and be the good that we are. Gandhi said, if you want to change the world, be the good that you want to see in the world. That's who we have to be as a community. This again speaks volumes to that. If these behaviors are happening, we cannot be silent. We cannot be accepting. We cannot be un-American because in fact, by doing so, we are being un-American. We have a responsibility to each other, to this community, and to this country of what America can be. And so with that, I am absolutely in support of this motion.
Thank you, Supervisor Valdez. Were you going to say something? Well, I want to say just a few words. I want to thank you for bringing this to our attention and giving us this opportunity. Clearly, my daughter, when she was in first grade, they had to do an art illustration. I think you'll remember that first they came for her, and then they came for her, and then there was no one else left to speak up for me. And that was the first artistic thing she did, and that stuck with me because I've seen the anti-Semitism, I've seen since the election and prior, and that's scary. So I appreciate the work that both of you are doing and certainly am supporting. And with that, I'll call the question. And it's roll call.
Supervisor Carroll.
Aye.
Supervisor Urias.
Aye.
Supervisor Valdez.
Aye.
Chair Barnes.
Aye. Motion carries. We'll see this back on the agenda on the first meeting in January 3rd, for ratification. Thanks so much for sharing this with us and for the work you're doing.